So you've been driving trucks for a while and you feel like you're ready to buy your own cash truck, whether you finance it or, buy it outright. But you got, you get your little cheap truck, something that's affordable, $40,000 or less, or you just pay straight cash for it and be done with a truck note altogether. You fix it up the way you want it to be fixed up. And you go out there and you run maybe a year or two, and after about 2 years, you find yourself slowing down, taking more time off. You used to be OTR, you ain't OTR no more. You used to go up to Washington, Wyoming, Utah, California, but you live on the East Coast. Or if you live on the West Coast, New York. Maybe not New York. Maybe New Jersey, PA, Virginia. But when you got your truck, you find yourself not doing that no more. But before you bought the truck, whoever you was working for, they had you running 120 hours a week, 7 days a week, no 34-hour reset, 4 and 5 and 6,000 miles. You run it hard as you could possibly be running to get the money up to get the vehicle. But once you got the vehicle, you tried to keep up in the beginning. Everybody try to break the record, see how much they can gross and how much they can take. But after time goes by and you realize nobody's on your neck anymore, ain't nobody blowing your phone up because it's your truck, they don't really feel obligated to tell you what to do anymore because you driving your own truck. Find yourself slowing down. And then you start to think to yourself, well, man, it's OTR, man. I ain't really got to do that no more. I don't need to be over there in Utah and Wyoming and all that crap. I don't need to be up there in New York and Virginia unless I live up that way. But if you don't live up that way, I ain't going up there, man. It costs to go up there. Tolls and Connecticut charge per mile you cross. You ain't trying to go up there pay none of that when it's your equipment. And then you think to yourself, well, what if I just run regional? Or what if I just run local? Let's just say you run local. Then you start to figure out, man, I'm working way less hours and I'm still able to get that $2,000 to $3,000 with my own truck, and I ain't even doing nowhere near just 3,000 miles. I ain't doing anywhere near just 120 hours a week, man. I'm at 60 hours. 60 hours, I'm at $2,000, $3,000. Same amount I was making 1099 company driver or W-2 or leasing a truck. You found out how to make the money just local. Less wear and tear on your vehicle, no mountains. And then you start taking off time away from the truck. You find yourself not working as hard. Next thing you know, you're going out, you're dealing with civilization again, wondering what's going on out there. You're starting to find your way out the truck. You didn't used to do this before though. When you was company driver, 1099, or better yet, when it wasn't your truck, you were just, all you knew was that sleeper and the inside of your cab and what was going on at the truck stop. But once it became your truck, you expanded outside of just your truck and the truck stop and the ship and the receiver. You started, hey man, what's going on? They got a game up there? Titans playing up there? How much of the tickets go? I'm going to the Titans game. I'm going to man, I don't feel like working on the weekend. Saturdays and Sundays, man, I'm off. I'm off. I'm on to work Monday through Friday. Especially if you get your own authority to get on this DAT load, boy. You already know, Monday through Friday. You ain't working the weekend unless you're going to book a load on Thursday or Friday that's going to take you a long distance to deliver on Monday. Problem is, we don't do long distances. Unless you're doing some specialized freight. You got a step deck crossing long, or you got some LTL reefer or something. Regular drive-in freight. Oh, drive-in freight. Oh no. We ain't doing no crap like that. Pick up in Nashville, deliver in Utah by Monday. Oh, that's out the window. When is your equipment? Not because your equipment can't make it to Utah, can't go to Colorado, can't go to Denver. It's because you have found another way to get the same amount of money you was making when you had to go to Utah and Wyoming and do all that as a 1099 company driver or lease driver or whatever the case may be. Well, you was netting $2,000 to $3,000, and even that's not consistent. Unless you're a 1099 company driver. You're a lease driver. 1 week is $2,000 to $3,000, next week is $5. Ain't no control over it. Company make one phone call, mess your whole week up. Something happened at the shipper, they got to reschedule something. You got a reefer, they got to reschedule. Hey man, you show up at Kroger's distribution center, you ain't got no safety vest on. You supposed to check in at 3 in the morning. Here it is, 2:55. You at the guard shack. They talk about, hey man, you ain't got no safety vest, man. Come back when you got safety vest. You like, oh, I got one in the truck. You walk back to the truck. By the time you come back to the guard shack, hey man, it's 3:02 a.m. We're going to reschedule you. Our next appointment is tomorrow at 5 a.m. 26 hours later. You said, man, what you think? Brother, I was already here, man. You told me to go get a safety vest. Yeah, but you didn't check in by 3 a.m. because you didn't have no safety vest. Games like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It ain't just Kroger's distribution center either. A lot of them play that game. Shh. And then eventually you start to realize the only thing that's keeping you, or that was keeping you glued to that seat, is either somebody was dangling the idea that you could own the truck. They used to dangle it, and then they realized nobody wants to own the truck no more. So then they had to dangle the idea, the theory. If you lease this truck, you ain't gotta own it. You can take home $3,000. They started dangling that over your head to keep you running harder and harder and harder. Hey, look here. You can get $3,000, but you gotta do 4,000 miles. You got to work 120 hours a week, but in 7 days, that $3,000, $3,500 check gonna hit, dangling over your head instead of some title contract. And what's going on now? People not hitting that now. Now they gotta find some other way to dangle something else over your head to keep you running. And find something. I don't know what they're gonna come up with, but they're gonna find something. Oh. Do y'all know in China, the AI trucks they got, they have found a way to where the truck runs 24 hours, but the driver still stays with the truck. What they do is, say for example, I'm going from Tennessee to Utah. When the truck get up in Kansas, it'll self-drive itself all the way through Kansas on, I-70. It'll just self-drive itself. I can be in there taking a 10-hour break. I don't got to control the truck until you get to Denver, Colorado. Maneuver through the city, maneuver through traffic, maybe maneuver through Wyoming, through the mountains. But AI will take over a little bit, kind of like how the pilots do. How the pilots, once the pilots take off and get everything set up, they set it on autopilot. They ain't got to control nothing until it's time to land, and they got to turn off autopilot. That's what China's doing with their AI trucks. And I'm thinking they're going to try to implement a system like that here in the United States. But pay you a little bit less. The truck can drive itself. You'll still be in it. But you'll be able to sleep while it's going down the road on certain highways. Certain stretches of the highway. Don't think they ain't thinking about it. Because every day there's somebody out there. Every day that they get up for work, they constantly trying to figure out how to get the truck driver out the truck. Do y'all understand when they get us out the truck, that it puts about $100,000 back in their pocket? How much do they pay you to drive a truck? $100,000 a year? What if you wasn't in the truck and the truck drove itself? That's $100,000 in their pocket. That's lovely. Who don't want that? You think they don't want that? Say, Andrew, who is they? We don't know who they is. I don't know who signed up to sit up here and program these trucks. When I go and click Aurora, go click on their YouTube channel, because they always live showing this self-driving truck. Those truck drivers sitting behind the seat, they just sitting back like this while the truck drives itself. I don't know who those truck drivers are. I don't know how they signed up for that job, but I know they signed up for it. You go, Aurora go live every day, 12 hours a day, showing you they self-driving truck going down interstate with the truck driver like this. He don't touch the steering wheel. He don't do nothing. He just go like this. That's all he do. Eat a bag of Cheetos and that's it. Somebody signed up for it. So then eventually you'll realize, you know, making $2,000 to $3,000, I don't have to do 4,000 and 5,000 miles. I don't have to go cross country. I can make $2,000 to $3,000 going, for example, say you got a reefer here in Tennessee. To make $2,000, you can just get low down to Florida, 500 miles, about $3,000 for the reefer. Maybe not on 500. They'll probably give you about 2,500, but if you go further, 700, 800 miles towards Tampa, Orlando, and all that, $3,000. After fuel, you still left with about $2,200, $2,300. That's just one day of work with your own truck. One day of work. And that's cruising. You found out how to make the money way easy, and you like, man, why I didn't think about this long time ago? Tell you why. They fooled you. They fooled a lot of truck drivers. They fooled a lot of I don't know who they is. They fooled a lot of truck drivers into thinking that if you go out and get your own truck, however you get it, that some kind of way your engine will blow up every day. Every day you got blown engine every day. Every day you got to rebuild your engine. Every week you got to rebuild it. Every month you got to rebuild it. That's what they convinced you. And I can tell when I read the comments and people come see my YouTube channel, they see my little 1997 classic. And they be wondering, man, how is that truck, how is it still running? How is it still pulling freight? How can a truck 26 years old, how is it 26, 28 years old, 28-year-old truck, how? Then you gotta let them know the secret. Hey man, you know, same way you had to put tires on your truck, I got brand new tires on my truck too, and brakes. Andrew, what about the engine, Andrew? Yeah, starter lasts, 3 years? I got a new starter on now. New starter, new water pump, new air compressor. But Andrew, what about the inside of the motor? Well, the same way when you go out and buy a brand new truck and it's got all brand new internal components. I had a mechanic open up my engine, take all the old parts out, and put brand new internal parts in. We call it an overhaul kit. Costs about $3,000 for the kit, the overhaul kit. Comes with all brand new internal components. We put that in there, closed it back up, and I can outrun you. I can outrun you, because I ain't got no governor on my truck. Your truck governed 65, 70 miles per hour. I ain't got no governor. I hit 80 miles per hour. You ain't catching up. So, we've been bamboozled, tricked. I learned this back in 2018 though, but we've been bamboozled, tricked. Then it becomes, you get in the Andrew stage to where, you know, for example, I bought my Classic back in 2022. They was asking me, Andrew, are you gonna rebuild the engine on your Classic? I said nah, because I got two other trucks. You know, I got the little Mercedes engine. I already rebuilt that engine, so it's a bag up. Then I got the blue truck. I already rebuilt that engine. This Classic, I ain't gonna rebuild it. I'm just gonna drive it till it blow. We finna be going in 2026 The 12.7 is still rolling. It's still rolling. I said back in 2022 I was gonna drive it till it blow. We going in 2026. I don't know when it's gonna blow. It may not blow to 2040. I have no idea. No idea. I just know the cost of what it's gonna cost when it do blow. Cause I'm gonna go through the same procedures. I'm gonna order an overhaul kit, no matter where I'm at in the world, or where I'm at in the United States. No matter what shop I gotta go to, it's the same procedure. Either I'm gonna go to Freightliner and get an overhaul kit in whatever town, city I'm in, or if Freightliner talking about, hey, it's $8,000 for overhaul kit, no problem. I'm gonna get right on atldiesel.com, go to overhaul kit, pay the $3,000 for one of them overhaul kits, and have it shipped to whatever shop I'm at, wherever I'm at in the United States, and just pay the shop label. We do the same thing with tires. You pop a tire, we know we can go to TA and Lowe's, and you know, they'll bust you upside the head about $700, $800 for a brand new tire. Of course they will, especially on the weekend. But we also know you can get tires a lot cheaper. You go to Southern Tire Market and some of these other places, you get the same tire, $400, $300. Just depends on how you want to spend the money. So, more of the story is, you know, once you find the way out the matrix, and you don't have to buy a truck to get out of the matrix, you know, you could, for example, a lot of y'all can just find a local job. You find you a local job, maybe get your apartment, start, you know, entering society again. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be, especially once you go local, you do local for about, you know, a month, not a month, about a year, it's gonna be so difficult to try to get back on the road in one of them trucks. But I'm gonna tell you who would keep you from going local. You talk to one of these truck drivers that you could tell they ain't local, they'll be telling you how difficult local it is, how it's 14 hours and you gotta lift all these boxes and all this. I don't know what they be talking about. I have no idea. I don't know nothing about lifting no boxes. I don't do no driver assist. I don't know nothing about none of that. I don't know anything about it being difficult for being local. I just came from Lowe's. It wasn't nothing difficult about that. That was the easiest job you could probably have in trucking. You know what you do to unload a fuel tanker? Hook up one hose from one end to the other and just stand there. That's it. Then, you know, some of us, we get lied to. I know a lot of truck drivers right this second. I'm pretty sure y'all done heard this line before. Listen to me. See how familiar this sounds. I can't go local because they only allow you to take home, you can only take off 1 week out of 52 weeks. You only get 1 week off out of 52 weeks. How many times have y'all heard that? And they all got the same thing in common. That comes from truck drivers that ain't never done local before. And what they're actually saying is, if you go get a local job, usually most local companies, if you W-2, they will allow you 1 week off of paid time off. Paid vacation time. They'll give you 1 week for every year you work, they'll give you 1 week paid vacation off. Paid. So out of 52 weeks, you can take off 1 week and get paid for it. Okay? If you want to take more than 7 days off, you just gonna get unpaid for it. It's just like a regular job. Hey, Mr. Charlie, look, I'm going on vacation for a week. I already used my paid vacation, so I know it's gonna be unpaid. Okay, Andrew, what days you want off? Man, I need off for the 7th through the 14th. Okay, Andrew, well, as long as nobody else is off during that time, then cool. All right, Mr. Charlie. That's it. That's it. But the only way to know that, you gotta be local. People that ain't never been local, they ain't got a clue how it works. Not a clue. And all of us that be local, we be knowing this. We just sit back and be like, Yeah, we hear you, truck driver. We don't know what on earth y'all talking about, but one day y'all figure it out. One day. We don't know when, but one day y'all figure it out. And like I said, that's on the W-2 side. You know, of course, if you own a truck, oh my gosh. When you own a truck, we work whenever. I'm talking about whenever we feel like driving a semi-truck full.